But we here.
I'll go back to the browser.
And we now. Right? All right. Shalom, Israel. Shalom. Can't mess around. Shirash Kabar. Shalom. All right. Okay. Meanwhile, we get started. This is the I.S.U.P.K. coming out of California. California presents the Inconvenient Truth under Commanding General Yohanna with the I.S.U.P.K. We're bringing the Inconvenient Truth out of California every Wednesday about this time.
Right.
Come on, brother Oscar War in the house, Malakma, Kashar one in the house. Now I'm off to Kaza Yard 5000. We're here to bring that Inconvenient Truth. Today we're going to be talking about, right now the topic, right? The day of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like a storm, like a mighty storm. And, you know, this is what we're going to talk about today. So, you know, let's get it together. Get your Bibles, man. Always recommended you get your Bible for you can get into these precepts. For everybody jumping on, as always, man. The water for joining us, for being with us today. Salakia for the late start. But, you know, sometimes it's good we get a late start. Everybody else's show is about to go off. So we're going to end up here. You're going to end up right here at the Inconvenient Truth with this show right here. Man, it's going to be heavy. We're going to talk about that earthquake that happened in Mexico. And not really the earthquake, because to me that's like a Christian precept. The one that says, what is that in Matthew, right? There'll be earthquakes and wars and rumor of wars. You know, when you go to a Christian church, that's what they scare you with to get you into the church. You know what I mean? Like, that's a common precept that they use in the Christian churches. It's nothing wrong with it. Of course, you know, that's a true precept. Christ himself warned us about that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But sometimes you look behind what it is, and, you know, that precept has been used so much in the Christian church that we've been, how could I say it? We've been desensitized to that precept. We've been desensitized. People, nowadays, you tell people that, well, you know, if it ends, it ends. You know what I mean? What can I do? I can't do nothing about it. That's what that precept brings out in people nowadays. Nowadays, people really are desensitized. You know, they see all that's going on in the world. They see everything that's happening. But even though they see all this, they don't fear the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And what is that precept? Knowledge. What is that? Oh, Salakia. What was that? Oh, Salakia. There we go. Okay. What is that precept? The fear of the Lord. What is that?
Which one is it?
Fear of the Lord is
the beginning of knowledge.
Is the beginning of knowledge. Exactly. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So, first of all, you got to learn to fear the Lord, right? But what happens to fear the Lord? You know, people gotta see things happening. The only time I'm gonna talk for Mexican people. You know, Mexican people, the only time we fear the Lord is when the cop drives up behind us. Then we're calling God. Oh, God, you know, get me out this traffic stop. Don't let this cop take my car from me, because you know you ain't got no driver's license. You know you ain't got no insurance. You know you've been drinking. You know what I'm saying? You know you got weed in the car. You know you got warrants. You know what I mean? And as soon as you see those lights in the rearview mirror, the first thing you think about is, oh, God, you know, please get me out of this one, you know. You're super nice to the police officer at this point. You know, you're very, how could I say, you're doing everything they ask you to do, hoping that you don't get pulled over, but you ain't even talking to the cop. You're praying to God that happens. What's another situation? When you got COVID, you at home, you were in the bed, you were gonna die, you know what I'm saying? You're praying to God that, you know, that you don't die, that he has mercy on you, you know what I mean? Then you begin to believe in God. Then you believe in the Lord. Then you're really like, oh, God, you know, now you're calling out to the Most High. You know, when you get into a car accident, when you hit a car, you know what I'm saying? When your tags are going to get expired, you know, there's 100 reasons of why you seek God. But the one reason you don't seek God is to serve him.
Right.
That's one reason you don't seek the Most High.
Right.
No one seeks the Most High to do service. No one seeks the Most High to say, let me go save my people. Right. Let me work for the Lord, because my people are in a situation, you know, So these things we don't do for the Lord. Those are the things that we don't call the Lord, we don't call on the Lord for. Why? Because people are wicked. Because people are wicked, man. That's why. Because people are wicked and they don't believe in God. They don't believe in the Lord. Because if you did, you would definitely be seeking Him all the time. You know, when you come into the truth. Oh yeah.
I got a precept for you.
There we go. Salakia. Okay. All right. Shalom, Yahweh, Bashem, Shabbat, Most High in Christ, for being on the show today. Tawada for joining us. This is Kazak Yad of the I.S.U.P.K. Once again, I'm here with Malakma, Ashka War, and we got the Inconvenient Truth going on straight out of California. We're talking about today, about the day of the Lord, man. That day that's coming, man. Mexico yesterday felt the day of the Lord. And it's funny because, you know, if you read that precept about when the Lord's going to come, Mexico yesterday, if y'all didn't see it, but Mexico got a taste of what it's going to look like when the Lord comes. You got a precept for me, right?
Concert.
Go ahead, let's get a precept in just to start the show off. Go ahead.
The book of Matthew, chapter 15. You know what? It's like it. The book of Hosea, chapter 14 and verse 1. O Israel, return unto the Lord thy God, for thou hast fallen by thine iniquity.
So the Lord is asking us to return to Him. The Lord is asking us to come back. Now, when the Lord's asking us to come back, He's not doing it just for any reason, man. He's doing it because the Most High doesn't want you to go through what's about to happen.
Right.
The Most High is looking after you. The Most High is calling you so that you don't participate in these things that are about to come about.
Right.
Give me the one of the earthquakes. Give me the one of the pestilences. Give me those. The Lord is calling you because He doesn't want you to go through these things, man. Is your phone connected? Okay. He doesn't want you to go through these things, man. He really doesn't want Israel to have to go through these things anymore. Let me tell you something. It's happened over and over and over again. When Israel was in captivity in Egypt, the Lord knew how stubborn Israel was. And, you know, when He hardened Pharaoh's heart, He didn't harden Pharaoh's heart for Egypt. He hardened Pharaoh's heart for Israel. The reason He hardened Pharaoh's heart is because He wanted the Israelites to fear Him. He was doing these things because He wanted them to know that He was God. You know, God probably thought, if I turn the water into blood, man, these people are going to know that I'm their God. He thought, if I rain frogs on these people, they're going to know that I'm their God. He thought, you know what, if I kill the firstborn, man, they're going to know that I'm God.
Right.
If I bring this locust on them, they're going to know that I'm God. If I bring these boils on these people, they're going to know that I'm God. If I bring these pestilence and this drought and this famine, they're going to know that I'm God. Let me tell you something. The Lord's bringing all kinds of things on America for that we can see that He's God, that He's the most high power,
right?
That He is our Lord. He's even shown all of us something that has never been seen before, and that is how can I say, man, he looked into the future.
It's not charging.
You good? You good there?
Yeah, I'm watching.
He looked into the future, and what He did is he made Israel disappear. He made us forget who we were. He made us completely abandon our let me have it and I'll plug it over here. He made us completely abandon our heritage. Completely leave Israel and call yourself by another name.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he made Israel disappear for a long time. And then He said that there was gonna time when we would remember who we were. And with that, He also added that we were even going to remember his name. Do you have that?
I have the where we would discontinue from heritage.
And that we would remember, and not only that, but that we would call him by his name. And that's the time we live in today. When we remember who we are, we Israelites, and we call him by his real name. We no longer call him God or Yahweh or all these names, or if you're Christian, Jesus, because Jesus is God. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they say. Right. But he even did that to a point where now, if you've missed that, now you know who you are. You fulfill the prophecy. Each of us that are in the I.S.U.P.K, each of us that log on to these classes, each of us that seek the name of the Lord, Yahweh, each of us that remember that we're Israelites, that you Judah, that you Zebulun, that you Issachar, that you, who else? Man, go down the list, right? Asher, Naphtali.
I don't think the charger works out.
Or this cable doesn't work.
Yeah, the cable.
So now we live in a time when we remember exactly who we are. And remember that the Lord is our God. And that's prophetic. That's part of that prophecy.
Oh, don't sweat it up. I gotta try that.
And so now we're at the time where we have to remember. You got it? There it is. All right. Now we're at the time where we remember who we are. Remember our heritage. And now we're coming back to who we are. Israel never died. Israel will last forever. You know what I'm saying? Israel will never die. Israel will last forever. And that's us today. And so just like that, you know, the Lord has done these prophecies for us to remember and for us to see. And he's done these things so that we don't just think that there is no God. You know what I'm saying? And that's been us, Black Hispanics and Native American Indians, forever. We've always denied who we are. We've always turned against the Lord. We've always, you know, been those that forget who we are. You know, if you're Hispanic, right? If you're Latino, Central American, I don't care what you are. You know, our ancestors, they had a saying: when you died, they knew that your spirit would not die, but it would go to another time, to another person. You know, you'd come back. They would use the term travel well, or travel safely. They would honor your travel. In other words, your spirit would travel. Right. And you know that because they used to have this thing where your spirit would have to travel through the underworld, right, as a test and come right back up. You know what I mean? The Cholo Cinquintli, that dog that they use in Mexico, the Aztecs used, that dog was given to the kings so the dog could escort the king through the underworld for his next coming, so he would safely go through. Because, you know, they believe that if you go through the underworld, you might not come back. Right. Or you might just not make it. You know, your spirit might be tormented. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, and Israel, we have the same thing. We also understand that our spirits are going to come back. So all of us have been here before. And all of us know that this day of the Lord is at hand. This day is coming. And the Mexican people yesterday felt that day like a tempest. Right. If anybody saw those images of people filming Mexico and the earthquake that happened over there, man, that was like from a movie. That's like from some sci-fi movie. Unbelievable. Man, before I go on, let's find that precept. I want that precept of the storms and the thunder and the lightning, the day of the Lord. Let's bring that precept. So if you got it, go ahead.
Come on, sir. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 29 and verse 6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and with great noise. Man,
let me tell you something. Yesterday, the people of Mexico got visited with thunder, with rain, with earthquakes, with everything, man. Like, everything was thrown at Mexico yesterday. An incredible sight to see, man. Everybody who filmed that was like, man, I'm telling you, that was like watching that movie, what was that, War of the Worlds? You know, when the aliens come out of the ground and then the storm hits and the lightning and the earthquake and everything. That's what it was like. if you seen the War of the Worlds, that was the same thing. Like, if I'd have been there, I would have been like, what the hell's going on? Probably would have been happy to see the Lord come back that day. You know what I mean? But that wasn't the day yet, because, you know, the day and the hour, nobody knows. But we do know that that day, yesterday, man, for Mexico, was a heavy, heavy day. And let me tell you something. Mexico has this thing that every September, they have earthquakes. It's like clockwork. Every September, they have earthquakes. And they've probably got another earthquake coming in. Within a few days, they're going to get one more earthquake, a heavy one. Because that's the way Mexico works, man. They're going to get one more earthquake because it's September, earthquake day. But that's because the Lord is preparing for his visit. You know what I mean? And what we're seeing yesterday was incredible, man. Was incredible.
I got the story on this, sir. We want it.
All right, let's get to the story on Mexico and the earthquake in Mexico. Man, you know what? I want to thank everybody for joining. Before we move on, you know what I mean? As always, you know, I.S.U.P.K, the Inconvenient Truth, man. As always, man, we're here to bring out that hard, heavy truth. And we're going to go into a couple of topics today. But right now, we're knocking out the earthquake of Mexico. And you know what? People call on the Lord when this begins to happen. When they start seeing things like this, that's when they call on God. Go ahead.
Come on, sir. This is from the NPR, Latin America. First came a quake in Mexico, then strange blue lights. People fear the apocalypse. It reads, Mexicans are sharing spectacular videos of bursts of blue light seen streaking across the skies as a strong earthquake rocked the country's Pacific coast city of Acapulco on Wednesday. The 7.0 magnitude quake struck some 11 miles northeast of the resort city in the southwestern state of Guerrero. At least one person was killed. Buildings were damaged and rock slides littered a major highway. But the tremor didn't cause widespread damage. It did rattle nerves, though. Felt some 200 miles away in Mexico City and lasting nearly a minute. Residents fled into the streets as buildings swayed, sidewalks undulated, and the blue lights burst brilliantly in the sky.
You got more?
Soon, users started using the hashtag apocalypsis, Spanish for the biblical term denoting the end of the world apocalypse. It's a phenomenon that occurs somewhat regularly. Rutgers University physics Troy Sinbrat says not to worry. The blue lights are not a sign of the world coming to an end. If it did, the apocalypse would have happened 1,000 years ago when this was first discovered, said Sinbrat. In an interview with NPR, he said the phenomena of so-called earthquake lights has been recorded historically and occurs fairly regularly. Some scientists believe the eruption of lights is caused by the friction of the rocks near the earth. So it just starts going into that, sir.
Okay. So what you're seeing here is the images of Mexico and what it looked like when that earthquake struck. I mean, this is what people look like, you know. People don't expect it. People don't call on God till they start seeing things happen.
Right.
You know, this is when people start calling on God. When you start seeing, you know, the earthquakes, the destruction, you know what I'm saying? That's when you're really calling on God. Look at this. That's when you're calling on God. That's when people decide to call on God. But before that, you don't even remember God. Before that, to you, it's just another day. To you, it's like, oh, it happens, whatever. You know, it's just... It just happens. But when you're in a situation like this, look at all these people inside that hotel. And man, let me tell you something, man. I seen this movie about the earthquake in I think it was 1980s, and they show a building that collapsed, and everybody in the building was buried inside of the building. Man, the movie is incredible, but it's a story about the people that were in there that survived. But not all of them survived. Of course, they died in there. Right. You know what I mean? But that's an incredible movie, and it depicts what happens when people get buried in the rubble of an earthquake. Go ahead.
It's like I was going to add, if you remember a few years back, right on Mexico City got hit with that giant earthquake, that big, powerful earthquake that knocked down a bunch of buildings.
That's right? The one I'm talking about.
And it's heavy because scientists always bring out that one of the reasons why that happens is because the ground is not stable. Because right on Mexico City, used to be Tenochtitlan,
Right.
which was, you know, it was a giant lake.
Right.
So then came in the freaking Spaniards and filled that land up, you know, just took the lake out, so now the soil's not stable. And, you know, I would look at it like, you know, that right there is the Lord raining vengeance for what them Spaniards did, you know, to our people.
Right. Well, absolutely. What happens though is that you got to understand that, you know, what you're looking at here is that you may not hear it, but the reaction that people have during this earthquake is like, you know, something you haven't seen before. Like, people are afraid of what's going on. But, you know, once again, you know, the only time you reach for God is when things are starting to go wrong. You know what I mean? Like when you find yourself in a situation that's dire, a dire situation, that's when you start seeking the Lord. And let me tell you something, Black Hispanics and Native American Indians, man, if it was that we seek the Lord whenever there's a dire situation, man, we'd be seeking the Lord every day. Because let me tell you something, every day we're going through something. You know what I mean? Look, you know, today Mexicans are going through this thing of being locked up in the detention centers. Man, they probably pray to God every day to get out of that place. You know what I'm saying? You got our brothers and sisters in the detention centers. Man, you know that they pray to God every day to get out of that place. You know what I mean? You got our brothers and sisters in the penal system, in the prison system. You know that they're praying to the Most High to get out of there all the time. You know what I mean? Because we only seek the Lord on times when things are going bad. We don't seek the Lord in our better days. You know what I mean? And you know what? We forget about God. And that He's coming back. And the day He comes back, He's coming back like a storm. You got that?
Right.
Let me get that one.
The book of Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake, and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of a devouring fire.
Man, let me tell you something. The Lord's going to visit us just like that. Like the Lord's going to visit us with storms and tempests. You know, a tempest is like a, man, what is that? Like a hurricane. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the way the Lord's going to visit us, man. The Lord's coming. His day is coming. And there's no way around it. Like you're gonna see that day. We're all gonna see that day. Slowly but surely, that day is gonna begin to unravel. Because it's not all gonna happen in one day. Let me tell you something. When the Lord destroyed Egypt, it didn't happen in one single day. He didn't just come and destroy it. You know what I mean? In one day. It took a long time for the Lord to bring all that on Egypt. When the Lord destroys something, man, He gives us the opportunity to turn ourselves around and serve Him. And let me tell you something, what's more important, these days that we see today, like, you know, this thing going on with the Middle East, you know what I mean? This thing going on with the COVID, what's that new one? It's not even COVID no more. Man, we're going to wish we had COVID.
You mean the MU variant?
The MU variant.
Oh,
Florida just broke out with it. In Florida, they got it, you know, MU variant. Are you waiting for it to come to California? You waiting for it to go to your neighborhood in Oregon or wherever you at? It's inevitable. You know why? Because the Lord is bringing that on this place.
Right.
You know, it's not, you know, people were like at the beginning, they were talking, oh, exactly, IR, Delta. At the beginning, people were talking about, oh, you know what, it's coming from China, from Japan, or where, China, right? No, it's coming from China. Well, now where is it coming from? It's Delta. Now where is it coming from? Now they're gonna be like, well, the Chinese bring it, but now it just what is it? It mutated.
Right.
Well, let me tell you something. Mutated or not, the Lord is bringing that on this earth. The Lord is bringing all this on this earth, man. He's bringing destruction. He's bringing pestilence. He's bringing storms. He's bringing tsunamis.
So
He's bringing war.
So the newest corona strain is called Mu.
Mu.
It was first detected in Colombia in the 1st of September.
Okay, so that's coming from Colombia. You know what I mean? So it's not coming from Japan. It's coming from Colombia. So you got to think about it, man. The Lord is bringing these things onto the earth. The earth is about to get prepared for the visit of the Lord. And when the Lord comes to visit, man, the Lord visits, and His visit is, His visit is, how could I say? Like a nightmare.
Come.
His visit is like a nightmare. You know, when people seen angels, people thought, hey, angels are beautiful. Nah, in the Bible, angels aren't beautiful. Right. Angels are scary. You know what I'm saying? They were a sight to see. You know what I mean? So, you know, like I had mentioned, when was it? A couple weeks ago, I had mentioned about the fire in Russia, right? The fire in Russia. The fire in Russia is in the Bible. It's also predicted in the Bible. You know what I mean? So you got to see these things as the Lord is doing these things. That fire in Russia, it ain't no joke. You know what I mean? You got a precept? Go ahead.
So this is Isaiah 47:3. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance. I will not meet thee as a man.
Oh, yeah. The Lord's not going to meet you as a man, man.
Right.
The Lord's going to tear you down.
Right.
Those people who thought, man, what is that word we use? Those people who thought they were hard. You know what I mean? Those people who thought they had it right. You can go to the gym all you want. You ain't never going to be big enough to face the Lord.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can be in the gym daily, but you ain't never going to be big enough to face the Most High.
Right.
The Most High is coming down, man, and nothing you can, no weapon that you could have had, you could have bought, nothing is going to save you from the day of the Most High. Right. Nothing, brother, man. The only thing that's going to save you from that day is serving the Lord himself. You know, when Israel was in Egypt, the Lord was looking out after Egypt. Right. The Lord was like, you know what? Egypt ain't got to worry about nothing. All you got to do is make sure you put that blood, right? All you got to do is put that blood around your door, and you're gonna be good. You know, nothing's gonna happen to you.
Right.
You're not gonna get the diseases. Your water's not gonna get rotten. You know what I mean? These plagues aren't gonna get you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, people are over there. Oscar de la Hoya, Tawada IR, Oscar de la Hoya, fully vaccinated. You know what I'm saying? Fully vaccinated, ready for whatever. He was about to fight. You got to think about it. If you're gonna get ready to fight, brother, aren't you in the gym all the time? Aren't you preparing? Aren't you working out? You know, you're about to have a major fight. You know, Oscar de la Hoya was training daily. Well, guess what? That day never came for Oscar de la Hoya. The Lord stopped him in his tracks. The Lord's disease came by and stopped him cold.
Right.
Because that fight you're not gonna win that fight.
Right.
I don't care how many belts you got under you. You're not gonna win that fight. That fight is gonna be a losing fight for you, and that goes for all of us who don't serve the Most High. Right now, man, our time is short. The most important thing to do right now is serve the Lord, so that He might have mercy on you, that you don't have to go through the things He's about to bring on this earth.
Damn,
you got another precept? Ready?
Nah, sir, not yet.
Oh. So, these things that the Lord is going to bring, man, let me tell you something. They're coming regardless of what you do.
Right.
No matter what you think that you're ready, man, you're never going to be ready for what the Lord has. No one's going to be ready for what the Lord has. You know what I mean? The Lord's got a day coming, like, man, people don't even know. That's why we're here, because before the Lord begins to destroy a nation, the first thing He's going to do is get His people out.
Right.
He did it in Egypt. He did it in Assyria. He did it in Babylon. He did it in where else? In Rome, right? Hey, let me tell you something. The Most High was preaching when Christ came to this earth. Man, He was in Jerusalem and He was calling His people.
Right. Because
He knew something was coming. Christ was telling His people, man, let me get these apostles together. Let me get Paul and John and who else? Matthew and Peter and Paul. Let me get them together, for they can help me to save my people.
Right.
Because destruction is about to come to Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? So Christ came to this earth, and He was chosen to choose His apostles to help Him put this work together.
Right.
And they would make pulpits of wood, and they'd go out on the street, and they preach to the people on the street, and thousands would get, multitudes, isn't that what it says?
Come.
Multitudes would gather. That means thousands of people would gather to hear them speak. But you know what? Even though thousands gathered to hear, very few came into that truth. There wasn't, out of the multitudes, very few stayed on it. You know what I mean? Same with us here. We're calling on everybody, but not everybody's listening. And the Lord bring Christ down so that he could do this work before the destruction of Jerusalem. And let me tell you something. When that destruction came to Jerusalem, brother man, you don't even know the story. If you don't know the story that Josephus tells about the destruction of Jerusalem, you have not read a story. You have to read that story of the destruction of Jerusalem by who's that king?
Destruction of Jerusalem. Which one's
When is Jerusalem destroyed? Pompeius?
In the book of Kings, I believe.
So Jerusalem is destroyed, and what is that? Let me find it for you real quick. Let me find it. If you know it, put it up. I'm gonna get it real quick before I can get it on point. I don't want to say things that aren't exact. All right. So, the destruction of Jerusalem. Oh, I see. Because it's been destroyed a few times. But I'm gonna try to remember before I find it here. It's the first Roman war, right? Shalom, Stephanie Montano, the water for joining in. So, Jerusalem is destroyed in 70 CE in Christ's era. Is that the one? Former Emperor Tiberius Julius Alexander, in his second in command, besieged and conquered Jerusalem, which had been controlled by Judean rebel factions, or the real Jews who lived in Jerusalem. So, Josephus places the siege. This is Josephus, the siege in the second year of Vespasian, which corresponds with the year 70 of the Common Era. Vespasian was the Roman emperor from 69 to 79, the fourth and last emperors of that year. So what happens is that this day of Jerusalem, right, when it was destroyed by this man, and I do remember, it's called the Jewish War, and it's by the historian Josephus. So you have to look at the book of Josephus and see that's exactly what it's called. It just came to my mind. It's called the Jewish War, and if you read those stories of the Jewish War in the book of Josephus, man, that is a story to read. That right there, the reason of this book, Josephus, is so important is because when Christ came to warn the Judeans, or the Jew people, the Jews, about the destruction that was about to take place in Jerusalem. So Christ, all that time that Christ is there, Christ is seeking the Jews, of course the Levites, and who else? The Benjamites, right? That were left behind. He's seeking them, and he's pushing for them to separate from the Romans. He's telling them to come back. You know when they say, what is that? What do they say? The white people are there? Not heathens. Salakia. I'm trying to think of all this at once. But you know how? What is it? Who is that? Can be that they can come? Who can become an Israelite? What do they call them?
Spiritual Israelite?
No. The
Gentiles?
The Gentiles. The water. The water. Here we go. So let me try this again. So the Gentiles, Christ came to call the Gentiles at that time because Christ knew that Jerusalem was about to be destroyed, and Josephus, the Roman historian, if you look at the book of Josephus, Josephus tells the story of a man, because he's not religious, but he tells the story of a man named Christ who was calling out to the to the Judah, to the Jewish or the Christians to come and come back to God. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why is because he was calling them to separate. That's why they're called, what did you say they called?
Gentiles.
The Gentiles. That's why they're called Gentiles, because at that time, a lot of the Jewish people thought they were Romans. A lot of the Jewish people thought they were Greeks, or they were, I don't know, what other nation is there? Whatever nation was there at that time. But they thought they were part of those nations. They stopped calling themselves Jews, and they were calling themselves Romans. Actually, Paul himself says, I'm a Roman citizen. So even Paul used to call himself a Roman. But Paul writes, I'm a Roman, but I'm a Jew, right? I'm an Israelite. That's what he says. I'm a Jew, but I'm an Israelite. You know, I'm of Israelite blood, because he didn't know he was an Israelite not until Christ came and started telling them who they really were. And then that's when Paul realized, wait a minute, I'm really an Israelite. That's like us today. We here in California, we're out here telling, man, especially me, I'm out here telling my raza, man, you're an Israelite, you Mexican, but you're over here thinking you Mexican American. You over here thinking you American. But I'm telling you, man, you're not American. You're not Mexican American. You got to separate from the ideologies and the culture and the customs of a nation called America. You can't be these people no more. And just the way I'm telling you that, Christ was telling his people the same thing. Christ was out there telling people, you know what? You are not Romans. You are not Greeks. You are not Syrians. You are not whatever. You guys are Israelites, and you need to come back to your heritage. And just the way we're here telling you that, Christ was out there doing the same thing to call his people. Why? Because Christ knew that there was destruction coming to Jerusalem. He knew that this king named Vespasius, he knew that there was going to come a time when Vespasian was going to come against the Jews and bring total destruction on them. And let me tell you, I'm going to read I'm going to paraphrase a little bit of that book, because I read that, man, I read that story. But the story tells about how the Jews were locked in Jerusalem. The walls of Jerusalem were high walls on top of a mountain, and the Roman soldiers could not get into that area. They couldn't go up the mountain to get into Jerusalem, but they couldn't go in through the entrance either, because the Jews were a mighty strong people. They were like, big, big mighty people. They just couldn't handle it. Like in the boxing ring, like on the football field, like in all sports, blacks dominated everything. And that was a problem in those days, that the Romans knew that a fight against them was not going to be won by them. So the Romans tried everything to try to defeat them, but they couldn't. So what they did is they decided to starve them out. This is where the book of Josephus, I'm telling you, is interesting. Because what they decided to do is, since we can't win this war, what we're going to do is we're going to starve them to death. And that's exactly what they did. But before that, Christ was warning everybody, get out of Jerusalem. You got to leave. They bring out the warning. It's time to go. Time to get out of here. Man, I want to say, I'm going to use the word millions of Jews left. Let me see if it says right here how many left. Let's see if it says. Doesn't say. I'm going to try to find it. Let me see.
It's around 2 million.
2 million. I was going to say, yeah. 2 million. I'm going to say that. But 2 million Jews fled to Africa.
Right.
To hide in Africa. This is how you get the Negro into Africa. When they tell you how the Negro get into Africa, well, because they fled from Jerusalem and they fled to Africa to hide out from the Roman soldiers who were out to destroy the Negroes at all costs. And what they did is they fled. Complete families fled. 1 million. Tabaganas, the water. I was going to say 1 million, but I kind of didn't know. But they fled to Africa to hide in what is that? North Africa? West Africa, to hide in West Africa. This is where they ended up. This is how the Negro ended up in Africa, because he fled siege of Jerusalem during this time, and what followed after they left was something else. And I do have Josephus. It says, and I'm going to read this. Pay real close attention. The temple was captured and destroyed on 9/10, sometime in August 70 CE, and the flames spread into residential sections of the city. Josephus describes the scene. So here we go with the scene. As the legions charged in, these are the Romans charging in, neither persuasion nor threat could check their impunity. Passion alone was in command. That means, man, you know how, man, I can imagine when I'm reading this. Have you ever seen when cops gather to beat the living daylights out of one single black man?
Right.
Like when they do that, there is nothing in their mind, no law, no restriction. They do it out of the pure passion of seeing a black man get beat. You got a dozen police officers kicking a black man in the head, one single black. They could have cuffed him, right? And just took him in, but they don't. Because of the passion and persuasion of just being able to do that at the moment. The hate that they had, this is the same hate that the Edomites have always had on blacks. Alone was in command. He says, crowded together around the entrance, many were trampled by their friends. Many fell along the still hot and smoking ruins of the colonnades and died as miserably as the defeated. As they neared the sanctuary, oh, and you know what he's talking about here? He's talking about the Roman soldiers.
Right.
This is what he's talking about here. He's not talking about the Judites. He's talking about the Roman soldiers by the thousands who crowded into this gate to go in and kill black people. And it says they crowded together around the entrance. Many were trampled by their friends. So man, you got a Roman soldier next to you. He falls and they don't even care. They're just trampling him over him because all they care about is killing blacks at that moment.
Right.
Many fell among the still hot smoking ruins of the colonnades and died as miserably as the defeated. Man, they were falling on fire. And their friends didn't even care. All they wanted to do was kill black Judites.
Right.
As they neared the sanctuary, they pretended not even to hear Caesar's commands and urged the men in front to throw in more firebrands. So Caesar was probably telling them, okay, that's enough. Let's come back. We won. But they didn't even hear that. They pretended not to even hear their commander say stop. You know what I'm saying? The partisans were no longer in position to help. Everywhere was slaughter and flight. Man, they were slaughtering black people. You know what I'm saying? Most of the victims were peaceful citizens, weak and unarmed, butchered whenever they were caught. Around the altar, the heaps of corpses grew higher and higher and higher, while down the sanctuary steps poured a river of blood, and the bodies of those killed at the top slithered to the bottom. Josephus' account absolves Titus of any culpability for the destruction of the temple, but this may merely reflect the desire to procure favor with the Flavian dynasty. So man, you can imagine what it was like. Just that one little piece that Josephus is talking about of how they destroyed and how they murdered the black people. So let me go on to hear more about what happened to them, because remember what we're talking about is that, man, Christ warned them. He said, you need to get out of, you need to separate from them. You guys need to get out of this. You need to stop being like that. You need to come back to the Lord. But you know what? The Judites refused to come back to God. They refused to serve the Most High. So let me continue. Now, as soon as the army had no more people to slay or plunder, because they remained none to be the objects of their fury, for they would not have spared any, had there remained any or work to be done, Caesar gave orders that they should now demolish the entire city and temple, but should leave as many of the towers standing as they were the greatest eminence, that is, Phasaelus and Hippicus and Miriam, and so much of the wall enclosed the city of the west side. This wall was spared in order to afford a camp for such as were aligned in garrison. So they left the towers for what? For their armies could use them as garrisons, as towers. Go ahead.
Salaki, I want just a sister asked who is the author of the book you're reading from, sir?
Josephus, the historian.
Khan.
And Josephus claims that 1.1 million people, Jews, were killed during the siege, of which a majority were Jewish. Josephus attributes the celebration of the Passover, which he uses as a rationale for the vast number of people present among the death toll. So, supposedly it happened on the Passover. That's what Josephus is saying. But when you think about it, man, 1.1 million died that day, and 1 million left to find refuge, according to Josephus, in Africa, or in Africa.
Oh,
that's where they left to. They left to Africa to find their refuge. And let me tell you something: the name of the king in that time, because this is even more for those who still think that the Edomites are not who they say they are. I wanted to read something real quick, and I seen it here. Okay, here it is. The Roman Empire, right, was known as, they had factions of peasantry and Idumeans. The Idumeans just so happened to be, here it is, because it says who was the king. The king was from Idumea, right? That's who the king was at that time. Edom and Idumea are two related but distinct terms which both relate to historically continuous population, but two separate. So the Edomites, the Idumeans are the same people. That's who they are. So if you're wondering, are the Edomites really Idumeans? Yeah, they're from Idumea. That was their land, and that is who was king over Jerusalem at that time. So you can imagine what happened on that day of the slaughter, man, the atrocities. That's why when the white people came to Mexico, they had no problem committing atrocities on the native, on the Aztecs, right, or on the indigenous. When they came to America and they slaughtered the Native American Indian, right, they had no problem slaughtering the Native American Indian. They were used to doing that. Right. They did that to the Judites. They slaughtered them, cut them to pieces, murdered their children, destroyed their wives, cut them to pieces, take the babies out. Josephus talks about they were taking babies out of women. You know what I'm saying? Josephus talks about the Judites who were locked in the Jerusalem when they were being starved to death, that they would eat their babies. Right. They were eating their babies, man, to survive. Go ahead.
So I got a precept, sir.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9 and 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
Absolutely. That's why the Lord hates Esau. Because Esau, his gift was that of war, right? A sword, vengeance, death. That's his gift right there. You know what I mean? That's what he does. And that's what he did to the Judites. But let's get back to the point. Right. Because the story is what happened to them, but the foundation of our story and the point is that the Lord sent Christ to call on his people to get out of there, to separate, to come back to their heritage, to come back to being an Israelite, to remember who you are, to accept the Most High God, right, to keep the high holy days. Man, when they were out there, when Christ was out there, a lot of people, they weren't listening to him. They didn't care no more. They became Roman citizens, just the way a lot of us became American citizens. Right. Just the way a lot of us became Mexican American, Black American, Native American Indian. That's what happened in his time too. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, and a lot of them were, I'm a Greek, I'm a Roman. You know, I'm African. Goddamn, I'm African. Today they still say I'm African. You know what I'm saying? You got something to say? Go ahead.
I just got the precept service. Still want it?
Go ahead.
Where Christ prophesied about
Go ahead.
leaving Jerusalem. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, and verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Verse 21. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these days, so like verse 22, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
Man, so Christ warned them. He warned all of the Israelites, man, that day is coming, man. Jerusalem is gonna be destroyed, and you need to get the hell out of there. You need to flee. Don't come into Jerusalem. If you live on the outskirts, man, don't even come over here, because this place is gonna be destroyed. Christ prophesied it. Christ went and told his people. Christ was chosen to do this work because he knew it was going to be the worst day in history for Israel, for Judah, for Benjamin, for Levites, for all of us. You know what I'm saying? But did we listen? No, we didn't. You know what? He had prophets, the 12 prophets that followed and helped him to spread these words. You know what I mean? And you know what? People still didn't listen. Well, guess what? That day that Christ lived, we're living it today. Today, the Lord has chosen somebody. The Lord chose Commanding General Yohanna. He chose Commanding General Yohanna to wake up his people once again. Now, I'm not saying General Yohanna is Christ. No. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that Commanding General Yohanna has been chosen to continue doing this job.
Damn right.
Commanding General Yohanna was the prophet chosen in our time to bring prophets up, that we might call our people and say, man, destruction is coming, not on Jerusalem, on this planet, on this world, in this country, in our time. And we've been called to tell everybody, man, get out of this place. Just the way Christ was telling them, get out, we're telling you, get out. This time we're telling you, separate. Don't be part of this place, man. Don't be part of what's going on. We've seen it in Egypt. Moses said, separate from the Egyptians. Don't take part in what they're doing. Honor the Most High. Honor God. You know what he says, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to get out of here. We're going to get out of this captivity. Well, guess what? Once again, Christ has sent us, has chosen us to do this job once again, because destruction is coming on this planet, and it's coming swiftly. Ready?
So I got a precept for you, sir. This is Jeremiah 16 and 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. Verse 15. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers.
So the Lord's going to pick us up, man. The Lord is calling us, man. The Lord has decided, man, this is it. And he's chosen us, man. Everybody in the UPK, everybody out there, man. You know, if you continually watch this class, is because the Lord has called on your spirit. You know, the Lord knows you, man. The Lord knows all of us. He says, I knew you from the womb. Isn't that it? He knew you from the womb. He knew you were a soldier. He knew you were a warrior. Man, he knew you were a prophet. He knew that he was going to use you in a future time. That's why he's bringing you back in this time. That's why he has you in this realm, man. This is our world right here. Give me Proverbs 1 and 24. This has become our world now. Our world has become a world of prophets. Our studies, our way of life, the way we speak, the way we are, it's all about prophets. It's all about priests and prophets. We live in a world of priests. You know how they live in the world of sports, in the world of music, the world of entertainment. We live in the world of priests and prophets. That's what we are. We don't no longer can mingle with those from gangs or those drug dealers or those who are doing, you know, those things that we used to do in the world, we can no longer mingle with them. We're no longer part of that world. We need to separate from that world. They might say, oh, brother, you can't go out to the bar. No, I'm not saying that. Oh, brother, you can't party. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, brother, you got to realize that your first work, your first love, your first thing is this right here.
Right.
Is serving the Lord. Doing this, man, you got a show to do every week. You got work to do every day. You got studies all the time. Our job is now to look, seek, and tell this truth. That's our job. Go to camp. A must. Because the Lord went to camp. Because where are we going to call our people? Am I going to call you every week? Man, you already know you know. You know what I'm saying? But how about those who have never heard? How about those who walk the streets daily?
Right.
Where else are you? That's why sometimes people say, well, you don't have to go to camp. Yeah, hell yeah, you do got to go to camp.
Right.
Because that's where you're going to hear. Well, that's where they're going to hear the words. That's why the Lord went out there. The Lord could have called everybody. You know what? We're going to meet at this place. We're all going to talk. We're going to meet over here. We're all going to talk. The Lord was like, no way. We're going to go out on the street and we're going to call our people. The day of the Lord is coming. We've been chosen to speak these words to bring our people out of a country that's in the Bible as the place known as, what is that? The daughter of Babylon? Sodom, right? This is Gomorrah, and you live in it. And this place has been designated for destruction. And let me tell you about America. It's not only designated for destruction, but it's designated to become like, how could I say it? Like the focus point of destruction for this world. Like you, man, you living in the wrong country. You're better off in China or Russia or England or Australia or maybe Mexico or South America. You're better off somewhere over there. Because if you live in America, the Lord is going to use this place as an example of total destruction. This is that place the Lord has chosen to show all the world, all the nations, what a place, what a destruction He can bring. Like it says that the ships are going to be docked off the bay, and they're going to be in awe to see this nation go up. And let me get into precept of the destruction of this place. Go ahead.
So this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 24. Because I have called, and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded.
Hang on. Because the Lord has called us. Man, He's been calling you every week. Or at least on my show, the Lord's been calling you. And people keep refusing. They keep refusing to do this work. And the Lord has been calling and calling and calling. Man, I'm not speaking. Because guess what? I'd rather be doing something else. But the Lord speaks through me to call you to do this work. Go ahead.
So like y'all, I also got a precept if I could bring it out. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 9, verse 16. And in very deed for this cause have I raised thee up, for to shew in thee my power, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth.
So the Lord has chosen us to declare His name and show His power. And that's what we do today. You got more on that one? Go ahead.
Come on, sir. Verse 25. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and will none of my reproof.
Man, people have refused, man. You have not listened. You have not come to terms. You have not decided to join. Go ahead.
Verse 26. I also will laugh at your calamity.
Oof, man.
I will mock when your fear cometh.
Wow, let me tell you something. The Lord's He's gonna laugh at your fear. He's gonna laugh at your calamity. You know, when you're sitting there and you're like, oh well, it's gonna go up in smoke. The Most High is gonna stand there and He's gonna laugh at you. But He's not only gonna laugh at you, man. He's gonna laugh at your children, at your mom, at your dad. Because you may not have fear, but your kids are gonna be dying in fear. Your brothers and sisters dying in fear. Your mom is gonna be in fear. And you're thinking it's all gonna be, well, it's gonna be to an end. But not everybody thinks like that. Go ahead.
Come on, sir. Verse 27. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you. Verse 28. Then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer.
then that's what happened to the people of Mexico today, yesterday. Yesterday, before that day, man, they didn't give a damn about God. They were thinking about La Virgen de la Guadalupe, La Virgen Maria, San Martín de Porres. I'm pretty sure they tried every saint, and then in the other one, oh man, I'm just going to call God. Because all these saints ain't doing nothing for me. And they're going to call God. But you know what? It's going to be too late. It's going to be way too late. Go ahead.
So like I was saying, man, I seen, cats trying to say that was Tlaloc and I forgot what other religions. Like, come on, man. Like it's like, really, you gonna say it was Tlaloc? Why didn't he put, if Tlaloc is real and it's like, it's not, I gotta say this. If Tlaloc is real, right? Why didn't he put that big old powerful earthquake to kill all them Spaniards when they came over here, man?
Right.
That's a real deity, a real indigenous god and whatnot. Where the hell were they at when the conquistadors came, man? Right,
absolutely. Let me tell you something. A lot of the Mexica, the indigenous people, well, no, it's Tlaloc, it's
I forgot what
the old Metzli, the moon god Metzli, and all these gods, they're the ones. But you know what? Absolutely, Malakma has a point. Where were these gods when the Spaniards were invading and murdering and committing atrocities on the Mexican people? But I'll tell you who did, who was there. God was there. You know why God was there? Because God said that was going to happen to you.
Right.
Because God said, I'm going to bring a nation that you've never known before.
Right.
And they're going to slay you with the sword.
Right.
So you know who did that? God did that to you. You know who killed the Mexican people? God killed the Mexican people.
Right.
God killed the Native American Indian. God killed the Judite brothers. You know why? Because you refuse to believe in God.
Right.
And since your people refuse to believe in God, God has taken vengeance on your people.
Right.
God has chose to, bring curses and destruction and desolation on your race of people.
Right.
Because you refuse to believe in Him. Him, the Creator, your Father, the one that gave you life. And since you refuse to believe in Him, He did say it. While the goddamn Mexicas are talking about, Tlaloc, the god of thunder
rain.
and storm and rain. He did this to Mexico yesterday. He did this because he's doing that on the Mexican people. But let me tell you something. He should have done that to the goddamn Spaniards.
Right.
He should have bring rain and thunder and storm when the Mexicans were worshiping him.
Right.
Because they used to worship him all the time. Weren't they taking out hearts like they say?
Right.
Weren't they killing millions of people every day, supposedly, in honor of him? Weren't they sacrificing thousands of children daily in honor of Tlaloc? Well, what happened? If Tlaloc was alive, why did he stop helping them? Why did he not save them? I'll tell you why. Because a God above your God decided He was going to bring a nation that you had never heard and never seen before to wipe your people out. And that's exactly what He did. The Almighty God, Yahweh Almighty, He's nothing to play with. He's coming, and He's coming like a tempest and a storm to destroy you for not honoring and serving Him. You got more? Go ahead.
Come on, sir. Verse 28, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Verse 29, for that they hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord.
So, let me tell you something. The fear of the Lord is knowledge. Isn't that what it says? The fear of the Lord is knowledge. But you refuse knowledge.
Right.
You refuse to hear these words. You refuse to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
Man, let me tell you something. You refuse to honor His high holy day on Monday. You refuse to go to the blowing of the trumpets. You chose to go to the beach, have a barbecue, and celebrate Memorial Day instead of celebrating the Lord's high holy day. You chose to do that. I bet you all of Mexico was celebrating goddamn Memorial Day. El Día de Memoria.
Right.
That's what they call it. Instead of celebrating the Lord's high holy day. The Feast of Trumpets. And because of that, the Lord bring a tempest on them. and destruction on them.
Right.
And just like that, because you refuse to follow the Lord and serve his high holy days, you're also going to partake in his destruction. Go ahead.
Come on, sir. Verse 29. Salaki. Verse 30. They were none of my counsels. They despised all my reproof. Verse 31. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way.
Right. You're going to eat the fruit of your own ways because you refuse his counsel. You refuse his reproach. You refuse all that. You don't care. You want to believe in, I don't know, other gods.
Right.
You want to believe in La Virgen de Guadalupe and San Martín de Porres and
if I could,
all these, ¿quién? Malverde, Santa Muerte, Santa Chinga Su Madre, whoever, you know, go ahead.
Nah, sir, definitely. All these gods that are garbage and aren't even real. Our people worshiping gods that aren't even real. And the thing that we got to ask ourselves is, if these are really gods, what type of guidance are they giving us? You got the gods that we're mentioning about the Toltec gods or whatever, you know, or the Aztec gods, the Mayan gods, but those guys don't give you no instruction on how to live on the earth.
Right.
They don't give you instruction on how to be moral. Neither does the Virgen de Guadalupe, San Judas, all these saints. You understand? They don't give us guidance on how to live life. But the God of the Bible does give us guidance.
Right.
And we actually follow those guidelines, the laws and the commandments that he gave us. They make a lot of sense. You understand?
Absolutely.
They absolutely fall in line with real life.
Right.
That's how you know. That's one way you can know that the God of the Bible is real. All these, you know, these other guys ain't real, man. These guys don't even exist. These guys are made up.
Right.
These guys, they're fake. You understand? You got to come back to the real God, man.
Right.
Worshiping that damn garbage.
Let me tell you something. Give me Isaiah 19 and 16. Because let me tell you something. You don't know yet. You think you're strong. You think you're ready. Man, you know, when you're here, you're ready. You can read off of there if you want.
Constant.
You know, when you think you're ready, you think that, oh man, you know, I can man up to what's coming. You know what I mean? I can man up to what's about to happen. You know, I'm strong enough to do this. Everybody thinks that. Everybody thinks that. Well, bring it on. Ni modo, you know. Mexicans especially, you know, Mexicans are always that. But ni modo, you know, I'm gonna face it. I'm gonna. It's gonna come to me. I'm gonna get it. You know, ni modo. I can do it. Because that's the way Mexicans are. But the Lord has seen what we're going to be like in that day. The Lord has seen what everybody's going to be like in that day. He knows exactly what it's going to be like. And this is what it's going to be like right here. Go ahead.
13 and 4, sir?
It's
Ezekiel 30 and 3?
Ezekiel 19, 16, and 17.
Oh, Isaiah. I'll read it from there, sir.
Oh, Isaiah. Yeah.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 19, verse 16 through 17. In that day, the Egyptians will become like women.
The what?
Egyptians
will become like what?
Like women.
Good.
Go ahead.
And they will tremble. And they will tremble and be in dread because of the waving of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he is going to wave over them. The land of Judah will become a terror to Egypt. Everyone to whom it is mentioned will be in dread of it, because of the purpose of the Lord of hosts, which he is proposing against him.
And that's the way America's going to be.
Damn.
America's going to be the same way as that day. The Egyptians thought they were the best. All American soldiers, Egyptians, Germans, everybody thinks, oh yeah, but the Lord said you're going to be like women.
Right.
You're going to be like females. You're going to tremble.
Right.
You're going to dread the Lord.
Right.
You're going to tremble, man. You're going to be shaking on that day.
Damn right.
That's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to be like. Go ahead.
Ezekiel 30 and 3 through 4. For the day is near, even the day of the Lord is near. It will be a day of clouds, a time of doom for the nations. A sword will come upon Egypt, and anguish will be in Ethiopia. When the slain fall in Egypt, they take away her wealth, and her foundations are torn down.
That's what America is going to be like. Exactly like that. They think that it's all about riches and everything, but on that day, man, the Lord is gonna come down, and he's gonna show America what it's like. Right. That's what it's gonna be like, man, for everybody. Go ahead to Isaiah 13, 9 and 11.
So the book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and 9 through 11. Behold, the day of the Lord is coming, cruel.
The what is it?
Day of the Lord is coming, cruel, with fury and burning anger.
Man, the day of the Lord is coming cruel with fury and burning anger. Go ahead.
To make the land a desolation.
Go ahead.
And he will exterminate its sinners from it. For the stars of heaven and their constellations will not flash forth their light. The sun will be dark when it rises, and the moon will not shed its light. Thus I will punish the world for its evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. I will also put an end to the arrogance of the proud, and abase the haughtiness of the ruthless.
Man, he's going to put an arrogance to the proud, bro. Let me tell you something. The day of the Lord is coming, and it's going to be something to deal with, man. We have not seen what the Lord has prepared, but we do know that throughout history, before the Lord brings that day, first he wants to call out his people.
Right.
First he makes an effort to save you, man. And you know what? Once again, not only save you, but save your people, save your family, that he might have mercy on them. The only way they're going to have mercy is if someone steps up to do this work. Man, your whole family will be lost if someone doesn't step up and does this work. Those people that you love, those people you know what? They're in each of our hands for us to do this work and save our people.
Right.
That's what Christ did. Christ came up to save his people, man. Christ didn't care about nothing but saving his people. He didn't care about his mom or his dad or his brothers. All he cared about was saving his people. And that's the way we need to be.
Right.
We need to realize that we're here to save our people.
Damn right.
That's what we come here for. That's what we come into this truth for.
Right.
We come to save our people, Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians.
Right.
This work is something that we all have to do. We all have to, what do they say, man up, right?
Right.
Gird up your loins
Right.
and do this work.
Right.
Because that's what's important. Man, let me tell you something. The day of the Lord is at hand.
Right.
And it's coming like a storm. You know what I'm saying?
Damn right.
And only us are going to be able to save this, man. Come on, man. You know, you got so many things around us right now of why we should be doing this work. There's more reasons than just, we know the end is coming, but there's more reasons of why we should do this work. You know, they got this, I was reading this article, right? Before we go, I was reading this article about the people that were cleaning up for 9/11, because you know 9/11 is coming up, right?
Right.
9/11 is coming up. And the people that were doing the cleanup for 9/11 just so happened to be Mexicans. Like there was a whole crew of Mexicans doing the 9/11 cleanup. Here it is right here. Look. This is the New York Times. Let's get it real quick. Look, it's called Immigrants September 11 Crews Seek Residency as a Reward. So these people that worked during 9/11 are still trying to get residency, trying to be legal in America.
In their own land, trying to be
man.
Come on, man.
They're giving these Afghanistan people fucking visas, and they're allowing them to come to America. And you got Mexicans, and a lot of them were from Chiapas, some of them were from Peru and Central America, who came to do the cleanup at 9/11.
Right.
And they're still not legal. They still haven't allowed them to get legal status in America. Go ahead.
Like, I just wanted to add something, man, because, you know, just to speak of that, man, like, our people are so destroyed, man. I had a sister at my slavery say that Hispanics coming, you know, so-called Hispanics coming over here, you know, are, you know, instead of staying back over there in their Latin American countries, are taking the easy way out to come to America.
Wow.
So, you know, so it's just how destroyed. But and I think about it, you know, it's like, I told him, man, that's not the easy way. I mean, everything that our people got to risk to come over here. You know, What I wanted to add more to that, you know, of course, you know, I'm on the slave. I was like, the Afghans are taking the easy way out.
Right.
They get a plane ride over here, man.
Right.
Then they get housed in an Airbnb and get all this assistance. Our people go through so much, you know, hell to get over here.
Man.
Risk life and death, risk their children, risk their families. And then at the end of it, when they make it over here, then they get thrown in cages, man. Then they get arrested. Then they get put into poverty, man. So who in the hell has the easy way out, man?
If I could, it's like it. If I could too, like coming out here is not even easy.
Right.
It's hard for
Right.
them. They don't got papers. They got to get a 9 to 5. You understand? They got to work extra hard because why? They're not working for themselves. They're working to feed their family on the other side. Their family gets sick. They can't go visit their family members. They gotta work 2 goddamn jobs.
Right.
All damn day working.
Absolutely.
Come on, man.
And let me show you that easy way out that she's talking about.
Right.
This is the New York Times. Okay, listen to this. That white woman's talking about the easy way out. Oh, what was she? A sister.
It was
It's about the easy way out. That's the bad.
Good.
So let me read this. Immigrant workers who helped clean up buildings in the lower Manhattan after September 11 attacks have long asked for years to obtain legal status as a way to compensate for the work and subsequent health problems they suffered health problems they suffered. But 20 years after 9/11, only several dozen are still participating in protests and making the request. Others have abandoned that fight.
They still fighting to this day.
Some of the cleaners didn't seek medical help immediately because they feared deportation.
Damn.
But they sure did use them to clean out 9/11.
Right.
And it says,
My ass.
ignored how to navigate the application process or did not know help was available. While some say they feel forgotten by the U.S. government, others return to Latin America.
Damn.
Go ahead,
Like, I was
Pastor.
gonna add, they're just killing them off.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've done that before with a lawsuit.
Right.
You know, they waited till everybody died and then they let them win. They just prolonged the whole lawsuit thing until everybody died, and then they didn't have to compensate for nobody because everybody was dead already.
Right. And let me tell you something. That Associated Press, that's all the story they put out.
If I could, sir,
Go ahead.
and you want to wonder why the COVID-19 is on the earth today, it's because of things like this.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you got these cleanup crews from 9/11 who are seeking, man. Hey, you know what? Come on, man. You know, we helped clean up this place.
Sick.
You know,
They got sick
and
because of
they
it.
got sick from it, from the
man.
asbestos. You know what I'm saying? From all that they went through from the 9/11 cleanup, and the thing was that they were all Latinos. So let me read this one. Look, Franklin Achachua Herrera holds his medical inhaler during the interview in a room that he shares with his father. Tuesday, August 17, 2021. This is recently in the Queensboro, New York. Herrera has several health conditions certified by the World Trade Center Health Program that are approved for treatment benefits for individuals who worked at the site in the aftermath of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Who attacked that place? Well, the goddamn Afghanistan attacked that place. You know what I'm saying? So these people, and let me tell you, that's the only news they pulled out. Like, they don't even care about listening to the problems that these people have. And the atrocities that they went through, and all they went through to clean up the 9/11 mess that America had to go through. But you know who got all the publicity? The firefighters, the people that were out there. They got all, and Mexicans were pushed to the side. They didn't even get a goddamn a visa, you know, and they still live with health problems.
Yeah, like a recognition.
Nothing.
If I could, sir, it's so sad because these brothers are still fighting to this day for citizenship. And the people who they were cleaning after is people from the Middle East.
Right.
But now the people from the Middle East got a first class flight to America.
Right.
And they supported them with apartments. They're supporting them 100%. But these brothers who cleaned up after the mess of the Middle Eastern people get no help.
It's like,
absolutely.
as long as this land belongs to them.
Right, that's even worse. Like
this brother Antachura, he says he removed a thick layer of dust from offices, apartments, and even the chapel in southern Manhattan in the weeks following the September 11 attack. Man, this brother even worked for the Christian church, and the Christian church couldn't even help him. You know what I mean? He didn't even get help from them. You know what I mean? But you got these people coming from Afghanistan. Did they fucking drive a plane into the fucking building?
Come on, sir.
Weren't they the ones who did that?
And
the Mexicans cleaned up after them.
Hey, sir, and if out for all the Mexicans and black people who voted for Joe Biden, who vote for presidents, a real leader, the scripture says when the righteous are in rulership, the
Right.
people rejoice.
Right.
Right.
When the wicked are in rulership, the people mourn.
Right.
How do you know that? How do you know that the wicked are in rulership? Because people like this are mourning. These are the people that true leaders should care about. Like the president should be talking about people like this who nobody cares about.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But they're not doing that because they're the wicked, and the people mourn because they wicked, man.
Go ahead.
So, like, sir, if I could, Arasa did all that, and what was the thank you America gave them, man?
Right.
Yeah.
Called them rapists and criminals, put our kids up in those cages, told them not to come over here, called them animals. That's the thank you that America gives our raza for helping clean up the, you know.
Right.
Go ahead.
You
you done?
got it. I don't know.
And the brothers, Malakman's bringing on a heavy point because they always bring out the negative things about black and Hispanic people, Native
Right.
American people. When we have greater things to be talked about us than worse,
Right.
they make us look like bad people. But when
Right.
you really look at us in our history and the things we've done, we're great people, man. We
Absolutely.
deserve everything more than any other nation. And real quick, sir.
Go ahead.
But when it comes to white people, when you look at the history of white people, you realize that they are wicked as hell. But they make themselves look very,
Right.
very civilized and all that. But they're wicked. You understand?
Right, and let me tell you, I was gonna say that this gentleman Franklin Achura, he cleaned a thick layer of dust in offices, apartments, and even the chapel in Lower Manhattan for weeks
Right.
after September 11. Right, I'm gonna read a little bit more. At first, he treated his heartburn and acid reflux with herbs his mother would send from Peru. He avoided available health programs because he lives illegally in the U.S. and feared deportation. But let me tell you something. When they were calling for people to clean up 9/11, people in America did not volunteer to do the cleanup of 9/11. So America seek cleanup crews from other countries,
Right.
and they went to Latin America
Right.
to find the crews to clean up after 9/11. And all the people that they bring from Latin America to clean up 9/11, they did not give them papers.
Hey.
They did not give them immigration status. They didn't do anything for them. No medical, nothing. They came, did the cleanup, and then they deported them. Or they lived here illegally.
Hey, sir, and that sounds very familiar. What happened in the Mexican-American War when America took over Arizona,
Right.
Las Vegas, all these other places? What did they do to build up those new lands? They broke the law and they brought people from the other side to America to help them
Right.
build the railroads and the cities and all that. And then once the cities were built, what did they do? They pushed the Mexicans into little ghettos.
You had something.
Oh yeah, I was gonna add, just like when just recently when that happened in Miami, when the building collapsed, right? They wanted the Mexicans, they were willing to help. We still
Right.
hopping up trying to help, and they're like, nah, we don't need your help. You know what I'm saying? But there
Right.
was still people under there. Who knows how many people more could have lived?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
they denied the Mexicans help just
Right.
because they didn't want them helping out.
Right. I'm going to read a little bit more. It says, he and other immigrants, mostly Spanish-speaking cleanup workers. There it is. It says, he and other immigrants, mostly Spanish-speaking cleanup workers, have long asked to obtain legal immigration status in the U.S. as a way to compensate for the work and subsequent health problems they suffered after the 9/11 attack or the cleanup. But 20 years after 9/11, only several dozens are still participating in protest and making the request, while others have abandoned the fight, right? It's hard to find a job here without immigration status. And Chachua said, attorneys who helped us years ago told us we would get immigration papers. But look, 20 years have passed.
Damn.
And we have nothing. Not as visible as those who worked on the World Trade Center rubble pile, some of these cleaners didn't seek medical help immediately because they feared deportation, ignored how to navigate the application process, or did not know help was available. So the only people who really got, anything was those that were on top of the rubble taking pictures for the Time magazine. But how about the Mexican people that still stuck around and cleaned up New York?
They don't talk about that.
They don't talk about those
They don't
people.
talk about that.
They don't talk about all the thousands of Mexicans who came, Latin Americans, who came to America to clean up the goddamn 9/11 mess. They don't talk about those people. They don't talk about all they went through. But you know what? They went right by it. As soon as they started to come over here, they went and they put them in cages. Put their children in cages. That's what they did do. But you know what? They don't do nothing to help these people out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what Mexican people come to America for. We come to America to be their working hands.
Right.
To be their mano de obra. To be their cleanup crews. To be their goddamn fruit pickers. Vegetable pickers.
Right.
To be their berry pickers. That's what we come here for. To be their goddamn janitors and cooks. You know what I'm saying? And laundry people. That's what we come to America for. And when we come here, we get looked at as a lower class of people. But you know what? That's the curse the Lord has put on us. Because why? Because we choose not to follow the Lord's way. You know what I'm saying? That's what it really is. We need to come back to the Most High. We need to start working to serve the Most High. So that, you know what? At least the opportunity for our children won't be thrown, you know, to the wayside like it was for these, man, all these who came to America and found out that America is not have a dream for them. You know what I mean? You have something to add?
Man, I just want to say, so like, that's why we got to come back to the Most High, man. All this stuff, like everything we're bringing out, you know, is everything we're bringing out is what you really call oppression.
Right.
It's the same thing that was happening to us in Egypt when we were under Pharaoh.
Right.
You understand? The same thing is happening to us to this very day. Our people are fighting for their rights from something that happened years ago with 9/11. Trying to get papers for cleaning up all the goddamn mess that the Afghanistani people made by doing a damn terrorist attack on America. And how can we get back to the top? We got to come back and serve the power that is on top. You understand?
Right.
We got to come and serve Christ. Come and serve Him. Get right with Him. Keep His laws and commandments. The hell with America. The hell with trying to be a part of America and be accepted by America. It's time for us to turn from that, man, and desire to be accepted by the Most High God. How is that done? Black and Hispanic and American Indian men, we got to wake up. We got to wake up and really stand for something that matters. Stand for something that's going to make an actual change, an actual revolution. Because it's going to take men to make that change. You understand? Men are who lead a nation. The greatest thing created is man.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Like that's us. Man was created to rule the goddamn earth.
Right.
And right now, wicked men who have no power are ruling the earth. Why do I say that wicked men with no power ruling the earth? Because they have no power.
Right.
The oppressor, he don't have power. He's not wise. He doesn't have strength. He's a goddamn kid. But why is he in power? Because we're not serving the Most High. So we got to serve the Most High, man. Once we start serving the Most High, once we come and serve the Most High and really get down with the Most High and go and prophesy to God's people as priests and prophets, telling them to wake up, come back to Christ. The time is coming. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. We wake up our sisters. Man, we're going to start seeing change. We're already seeing changes.
Absolutely.
We're going to see more changes.
Right.
And then America's going to get destroyed like it should be for wicked stuff like this.
Yeah, and I'm going to read this last one before we go because I want you to see how wicked America is.
Damn right.
Right? You're talking about 9/11. That was one of the worst, attacks in America, correct? And the destruction of all the towers and all that happened out there had to be the worst thing ever in history, right? And this is how they repaid Hispanic people. Lucely Gill, a 65-year-old Colombian, is a regular at the Queens gatherings. This is Queens, New York, where they've been going to protest for immigration. She received compensation from the for the Federal Victims Fund after developing breast cancer and takes medication for rhinitis and gastritis. She is being treated for depression and uses an asthma inhaler. This woman's life is gone from working doing that. But listen to this. Gill spent 6 months cleaning debris in Lower Manhattan at government offices, banks, and restaurants. She made about $60 for every 8 hours of work.
Damn.
This is what she was making.
Slavery, man.
She said she had nightmares for a long time after seeing first responders retrieve body parts. She vividly remembers her cough while working and the rashes in her skin after tearing down fiberglass insulation paper from walls.
That's terrible, man.
Imagine $60 for 8 hours of work.
And then you getting
My
sick,
devil,
your skin messing up.
You know what I mean?
Man,
That's
65 years old.
And I'll tell you what, I bet you no one else is getting paid that. I bet you everybody else was making mega money doing that, because that ain't, you know, I remember during, I'm going to say the 80s, the 90s, late 80s and 90s, they banned asbestos from all hotels, right? And they had to remove all the insulation from buildings. I don't know who remembers that. Had to remove all insulations from buildings, hotels, restaurants that had to do with asbestos. So they were hiring crews to go and do asbestos removal, and you were making top dollar for asbestos removal. Like, I remember they were sending people to, Northern California, Oregon, all kinds of places. You would go on a crew, they'd send you out for a couple of months, and you'd remove asbestos, and you'd come back to LA fat in the pocket because of all the money they were paying for you to go out there. It was like, I'm not lying, like $2,500 a week just to go remove asbestos. You were making top dollars. And let me tell you, they had you in a suit, like a space suit. And in order to get into the area where they were removing the asbestos, they made this plastic entrance where the plastic would close and you would go in and the plastic would close behind you. So they knew how dangerous asbestos was to the body.
I got some facts about it, so if you want to read
the asbestos?
Con.
Go ahead.
What are effects of asbestos? If you breathe asbestos fibers, you may increase the risk of several serious diseases, including asbestosis, mesothelioma, and lung cancer. Asbestos exposure may increase your risk for cancers of the digestive system, including colon cancer.
Right.
What are the first signs of asbestos poisoning? Symptoms: shortness of breath, a persistent dry cough, loss of appetite with weight loss, fingertips and toes that appear wider and rounder than normal. The goddamn thing makes you deformed.
Right.
Look at those nails, sir. You know, your nails start to look
different.
Yeah.
So it's a poison. It's a cancer.
Right. And they had these people working out there in the 9/11, removing all this asbestos. And let me tell you something. I know that Fred Regalado had put up some comments about, the conspiracy of the 9/11. But one of those conspiracies I remember hearing is that the buildings were sold, right? Because they had to be demolished because of the asbestos in that building was too expensive to remove. So they decided to destroy them. That's wild
ridiculous
theory that they had on it. But, this lady that worked out there doing the cleanup, this is what she said. Instead of giving us compensation, how much money could they possibly give them for their life?
Come on, man.
They could have given us immigration papers, she said. All of us, all of the Hispanic workers, we saw the consequences of the cleanup work later on.
Right.
And that's what she's talking about there.
And
how they became sick. Go ahead.
I don't mean to interrupt you, sir, but I bet you they didn't even give them a full warning of what they were dealing with.
Right.
Because if they actually knew, like you said, sir, when the people went and cleaned up the asbestos, they had them in suits. They had the goddamn tube walk in. They had all these things to prevent them from getting sick.
Right.
But for our people, this 65-year-old lady, they didn't give her none of that. We just read where her skin started to rash up.
Right.
She's talking about how they didn't realize the seriousness of it until after.
Right.
So they didn't even tell them, look, well, this is dangerous.
Right.
If they would have told them, they would have never. Oh, let me do it. They would have been, look, you're gonna have to pay us or something.
Exactly.
Evil.
Right. You had something to say?
That's like what's interesting is that we're gonna have the what they're gonna call it, the 20th anniversary of September 11th.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't gonna hear nobody tell people, it was so long ago, get over it. It's in the past, put it behind you.
Right.
You gotta move on.
Right.
Heal. Everything that they tell us when we bring up like the oppression that we suffer, the crimes done unto us. They always tell us to get over it.
Right.
But nobody's going to tell no American, you're going to see some devil crying, you know, because they lost family members in that day. No one would dare tell them, you know, get over it. It was so long ago. Right? And there's another flip side to that.
Right.
They can move from it, and they don't have to forget it because they got justice for what was done to them, man.
Right.
Osama bin Laden was put to death because, you know, millions of Arabs died because of 9/11.
Right.
Where's the justice for our people, man? Where's the justice for the death of my people, you know, at that Walmart in El Paso, at that Gilroy Festival, of all the Mexicans they lynched? Where's our justice?
Right.
And we can't even talk about it. We can't even mention the things that were done to our people because we have, you know, sellouts and oppressors come at us and try to silence us and tell us that it was so long ago and we got to get over it.
Right.
Man, that's why I say, man, the colonizer, this oppressor, is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks
Damn right.
of, man.
Right. Man, you know, to end it, you know, the right here in the conversation they're having with the cleanup crews who came from Latin America to clean up after 9/11, who never got compensated, who ended up, you know, dying from the diseases that come with cleaning up 9/11, never got recognition, never were even talked about. You know what I'm saying? One guy says, we need to be remembered. He says, we are all immigrants who contributed to the U.S. We worked hard there, paid taxes, grew old there. Some cleanup workers I knew died of cancer. He said, we should all be remembered for what we did. Man, and we're still asking, you know, a nation that hates us just to remember us. We're asking for pity, man. We're asking, you know what, and that should be this story of the workers from Latin America who came to clean up 9/11 because America didn't want to do it, and they seek the help of Latin America to do this cleanup. Man, these people should be remembered. These people should be the ones that this is the reason, because our people died to clean up their mess. That's why you should have let our Hispanic brothers and sisters come to America. That's why you shouldn't have made detention centers for us. That's why you should have gave us all goddamn visas, because thousands of us died cleaning up after your mess.
Right.
Thousands of us died doing your duties because you didn't want to do them. Your firefighters had unions. These people had no unions. Your firefighters got compensation and had 401ks and today live well. These people had to go back to their country to live poorly, without money, abandon anything about trying to get an immigration status in America. Because you know what? America didn't care for them. You know why they didn't care for them? Because they were Hispanic brothers and sisters. Because they were from Peru, they were from Colombia, they were from Mexico. That's why they didn't do nothing for them. Because of who they are. If it had been any other nation, they'd have helped them out right away. That's why they're helping out the Afghanistans, because they're not Mexicans. But if they were Mexicans, they'd be putting them in cages.
Right.
But instead, they're giving them housing through the, the Airbnb. They're getting them jobs. They're getting them visas. They're getting them all these things. They're getting all these people set up to come and live in America. While you Latinos, you came to clean up America from a mess that looked like it was never going to be clean. A risk of health, their lives, they died cleaning up this place. Right. Mexicans did that. Right. Latino Americans did that. Peruvians, Colombians did that. Salvadoreños did that. Came to America, then they accepted them. They were like, oh yeah, come on in. We accept you. You don't need papers. They didn't need papers to come and do that. No one said anything about papers then.
Right.
No one said you got to prove your status or you got to become a legal alien first. No way. They said, you're going to clean up the 9/11 mess? Come on in, do it. Because they knew that whoever cleaned up that mess was going to end up dying.
Right.
They knew whoever stepped foot in those areas was going to die of cancer, leukemia. We're going to have health issues for the rest of their lives. And you know what? They didn't want American citizens to go through that. They would rather have you Mexicans go through that.
Right.
They would rather have you wetbacks, you spicks. You know what I'm saying? You beaners.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Cheap labor.
Yeah, they'd rather have your hands doing that work. That's why they picked you to do that. That's why they allowed you to come over here and bring your whole goddamn family as long as you were working in that rubble. Go ahead.
So they rather have you bad hombres do it.
Right. Yeah. Right. And let me tell you something. I don't remember Donald Trump ever mentioning how Mexicans helped clean up the mess of 9/11.
Right.
I don't ever remember Biden saying Mexicans helped clean up 9/11. I don't remember any of these goddamn racists talk about thank you, Mexico, Latin America, for helping us clean up something that we didn't want to do.
Right.
Because we don't want to go out in the fields and work. We don't want to wash dishes, right?
Right.
We don't want to clean up our mess. We want you guys to do it. But yet, you become the enemy of this country. When are we going to learn, man? When are we going to learn that this is not a place for us? This is not a place for Hispanic people, black people, or Native American Indian people. This place is their place, and they use us and disregard us, man. What is that? We're expendable.
Right.
That's what we become.
Expendable.
We become expendable in this country. You're nothing to them. Until you begin to realize that, you'll continue this circle of working for these people without ever being appreciated, without even a goddamn thank you for cleaning up our country. Because that's what we did.
Right.
Go ahead.
If I could, I don't want
Before we go ahead.
It's heavy that you say that because you remember that video, right, where General Mahaman goes and lights up that Edomite girl. He tells her there's nobody more patriotic than us. There's no one who loves America more than us. We are the people that die in your militaries, fight in your wars, and reap none of the benefits.
Right. Man,
Damn
absolutely. You had something to add before we go?
I just want to say, sir, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what we go through is nothing to be proud about. You know, us being oppressed, us being down, being the people who clean up the mess of America, it's something that should make us angry, man. Ecclesiastes 7:7 says, oppression maketh the wise man mad.
Right.
You understand? If you in the world, if you're not in the ISUPK, and you mad about what we bringing out, then you the type of brother that needs to come and serve the Lord, because you the type of brother that the Lord wants, so that you can make a change.
Right.
You understand me? Why? Because you're mad about what's happening. You're mad about what's happening to your people, and that's who God wants to serve Him. He wants men who are mad and who actually care about what's happening to their people. You understand? So if you mad about what's happening, get in the ISUPK, man. Learn how to serve the Lord. Learn how to be a priest and prophet and serve God and actually do something about what's happening. You're not gonna make a change voting. You're not gonna make a change trying to start your own revolution. None of that. You gotta come and serve the Lord. You understand? So that's what you gotta do. Come back, serve the Lord, man. If you're really mad about what's happening, don't talk about it. Be about it, man.
Right.
That's what I say.
Right, man. I'm telling you. And let me tell you something, man. You know, we talk about it every week. We always speak about our Latin American brothers and sisters, man. But you know what? Let me tell you something. We got to really come together. We got to come together and make this work. We got to all come together in the ISUPK, man, and set up ourselves as the raza, the Latinos, the Hispanics that are going to make a change for our people, man. This is the place where we're going to rise up. No other place, man. You can't rise up anywhere. Let me tell you something. No place, man. Not the brown berets, not the Mexicas, none of those, man. The Lord is not with any of those people. The Lord is with us.
Right.
Because you know what? We're serving the Most High. We're doing what the Most High has asked us to do, and that is collect our people and speak these things. Man, we have become prophets in this time. The Lord is about to destroy America the ways He's destroyed everything else. If you didn't hear the story about Jerusalem that I spoke of at the beginning, you need to go back and listen to what Josephus and why Christ was at that time and what Christ knew was going to happen. Christ knew that Jerusalem was about to be destroyed and that the people that lived there, the Israelites, were about to be, they were going to commit atrocities on them. And He knew it. And He came to tell them it's time to go. And you know what? Let me tell you something. We're here for the same reason.
Right.
We're here to tell you again, just like in Christ's time, just like in Moses' time, just like in Ezekiel's time, just like in Isaiah's time,
Right.
you know, just like in all the times in the Bible when the Lord has chosen His people to come and speak and bring His people out of a nation that's about to be destroyed. Man, you should be worried. America's about to be put into nuclear fire. But before that, you're going to see a lot more before that day comes. You're going to see destruction. You're going to see, man, the Lord's coming back like a storm, like a tempest. Man, he's coming back with wind and earthquake and destruction, man, like you don't even know. We haven't seen nothing yet. It's time we get up. It's time we come together. It's time we call our people. The best thing you can do is save your people, man.
Right.
If you ain't got that, you got nothing. Man, we're the ISUPK coming out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York City, out of California. This is the Inconvenient Truth. Every Wednesday, man, we're going to be here calling our people, man, re-educating you and decolonizing your mind and getting you to separate from America. This place is about to be destroyed.
Right.
Man, you got any questions? You got any comments? Man, go ahead, post them up. Get us on our messenger. Reach out to us, man. Get into this truth. Celebrate those high holy days. Keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Your life and your family's life depends on it. Till next week, Shalom, Israel.